Okay, so let's dive into Deuteronomy chapter 16 today.
Right. This chapter is really practical. It's giving instructions for when the people actually get into the land.
Exactly. It's like, okay, here's how you're going to live day to day, year to year. And it seems to cover some really key areas.
It basically lays out, you could say, three big things. The yearly rhythm of their worship with these main feasts.
Okay.
Then how they need to set up, actual justice systems in their towns.
Right, the societal structure bit.
And finally, some really clear rules about, well, how not to worship, what to avoid.
Yeah, definite boundaries. I'm excited to unpack this. It feels very foundational.
It really is. And it kicks off immediately with the feasts, doesn't it? Straight into Passover in the month of Abib.
It does. And the reason given is right there, because that's when God brought them out of Egypt. And specifically at night. The timing seems crucial.
Absolutely crucial. It's all about memory. That's the core of Passover here. You eat unleavened bread for 7 days.
The bread of affliction.
Exactly. It's a physical reminder of that rushed, difficult exit. You couldn't even have yeast around. It forces you to remember.
And it wasn't just anywhere you could do this sacrifice, was it?
Yeah.
There's this emphasis on the place God chooses.
Yes. Centralization is key. It links that national memory, that redemption story, to one place, God's chosen place, unifies the whole experience.
And you had to eat it there, roasted, all in one night, no leftovers.
Again, it underscores that urgency, that finality of leaving Egypt behind.
Okay, so then we move to the next big one, the Feast of Weeks.
Mhm.
This feels different, more tied to the land itself, like the harvest cycle.
It is. It's explicitly linked to the grain harvest, starting 7 weeks after you first put the sickle to the standing grain.
So it's a harvest festival. And the offering is a free will offering.
Right, based on how much God has blessed your harvest. But what's really striking, and you see this theme pop up again, is who's supposed to celebrate.
Ah, yes. It's not just you and your immediate family.
Not at all. It lists you, your son, daughter, male and female servants, the Levites in your towns, and then specifically calls out the foreigners, the fatherless, and the widows living among you. Everyone rejoices together.
That intentional inclusion is really powerful. And it comes up again with the third feast, Tabernacles.
Feast of Tabernacles or booths. This one's later in the year after the main grain and wine harvest is completely gathered in.
Another 7-day celebration. And again, that same list of people.
Exactly the same list. Family, servants, Levites, foreigners, fatherless, widows, rejoice together, and the text links this complete joy directly to God blessing the work of their hands, their produce.
So these feasts are weaving together, remembering the past, celebrating God's provision now, and doing it as a whole, inclusive community.
Precisely. Memory, blessing, community. And especially care for the vulnerable within that community.
And all the men had to show up at the central place for these 3 specific feasts each year.
3 times a year, unleavened bread, weeks, and tabernacles. And crucially, the text says, don't appear empty-handed.
Right. You bring a gift based on how God has blessed you.
It ties gratitude and acknowledgement of God's blessing directly to a tangible act of giving performed in that central place of worship.
Okay, so after laying out this annual rhythm of worship and remembrance,
Right.
the chapter kind of pivots, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Straight into civic life.
It really does. A sharp turn right into appointing judges and officials in all your towns. Justice.
And why is setting up justice presented as so absolutely critical for living in the land?
Well, look at the language. It's incredibly strong. Appoint judges who shall judge the people with righteous judgment. Then do not pervert justice. Do not show partiality.
And the bit about bribes?
Oh, yeah. Don't take a bribe because, and this is quite a statement, a bribe blinds the eyes of the wise and subverts the cause of the righteous. It shows how easily justice can be undermined.
Wow. It's not just try to be fair. It's justice and only justice you shall follow.
So that you may live and inherit the land. There it is.
So living in the land, keeping the land, is directly tied to upholding impartial justice.
That's exactly the connection the text makes. The stability and continuation of their life in the promised land depends on their commitment to real justice. It's not optional. It's essential for their very existence there.
That's quite a heavy responsibility placed on the legal system.
It frames justice not just as a social good, but as something theologically vital for their relationship with God and the land he's giving them.
And then finally, the chapter wraps up with these quick, very direct prohibitions about worship.
Yep. No Asherah poles next to God's altar. No sacred pillars.
And the reason is just blunt. Things the Lord your God hates.
No ambiguity there. It's drawing a very clear line in the sand against adopting the idolatrous practices of the Canaanites they're displacing. Keep worship pure. Focus solely on God.
So, reflecting on the whole chapter, it's quite a sweep. From the rhythm of the year marked by these feasts demanding memory and inclusion,
To the absolute necessity of fair, impartial justice as the bedrock of society.
and then these clear boundaries around how they are to worship God alone.
And you see those threads connecting everything, remembering God's actions in the past, like the Exodus, celebrating his current blessings, the harvest, and the importance of doing it together, ensuring everyone, especially the vulnerable, is included.
And linking their physical thriving in the land directly to their ethical behavior, specifically through justice.
Right. It's a really integrated vision of faith and life.
It definitely leaves you thinking. How do these ancient ideas about embedding memory into ritual, about this radical command for community inclusion, and this insistence on impartial justice as vital for society, how do they resonate or maybe challenge how we think about our own communities, our sense of justice, and our beliefs today?
That's a great question to ponder. How do those ancient priorities speak to us now?